With the popularity of the Bullet 1 hang-on back protein skimmer, along with its 5-star reviews, I'm sure many hang-on back reefers out there want to get the down low on AquaMaxx's new, larger Bullet 2 and 3 models. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really happy to see that AquaMaxx is still helping reefers that are using standard aquariums get their hands on novel hang-on gear that is packed with features. Just like their smaller sibling, the Bullet 2 and 3 protein skimmers pair up an internal CJ pump in a rectangular housing with a cylindrical body to create an effective hang-on skimmer that is much more akin to their in-sump counterparts. They have a slew of thoughtful features, from a low-profile silencer that sits over the spillway in case of any drips, to the gate-style control for simple tuning. These hang-on skimmers are going to up the ante for what hang-on gear should be. When you open up the box, you'll find the skimmer cup, the skimmer body, the CJ pump and venturi, as well as a detailed quick start guide. Like I was mentioning, there are 2 new versions of the Bullet, the 2 and the 3, and they're rated for well-stocked reef aquariums up to 30 and 40 gallons respectively, and they require around 4.5 inches and 5.5 inches of clearance behind the aquarium for a comfortable fit. They will also work with tanks with or without a trim. The 2 can accommodate a lip up to 0.8 inches wide and 0.5 inches thick, while the 3 can overcome a lip of 1.2 inches wide and 0.5 inches thick. Both the 2 and the 3 are largely assembled right out of the box, and the only things left to do are install the pump, intake pipe, and venturi line. They use a really cool bracket system with thumb screws to hold the pump in place on the removable vertical plate, which I think is a really good alternative to press fit options. The vertical plate also has slots, so it slides in easily, and the intake pipe goes together snugly and slides right down into the pump without a fuss. All of the materials used, from the acrylic and PVC to the silicone tubing, are solid. All the edges are very nicely rounded and polished and comfy to work with, so you won't be slicing up your knuckles come maintenance time, which is something that I can really appreciate. There is nothing worse than sharp acrylic edges, except for maybe paper cuts. Now, the Bullet 2 is very similar to the Bullet 1, just larger, but the Bullet 3 actually has a few really nice features that set it apart from the pack. Rather than a simplistic diffuser, the Bullet 3 uses their iconic mini wine bottle diffuser that they use in their FC and DFC lineup, as well as their HOB 1.5 skimmer that I have personally had great experiences with. And rather than a tension screw to hold the cup in place while dialing in the water height, the 3 uses a knob at the top that you can turn to raise and lower that internal neck, which feels much more like the gate style control you typically see on compact in-sump skimmers. It is a really neat design that makes it easier to always return to that height that works best for your skimmer, since you could remove the cup without changing the height of that internal neck. Speaking of the cup, the lid on the 3 is a smaller version of the lid on the FC and DFC series. It has a recessed clear dome in the center so you can see your skimmate production, but more importantly, the design also has the vent holes facing inwards rather than upwards along the edge of the lid like we normally see on most skimmers. So in the event you get that stiff foam trying to push its way up through the skimmer lid, you'll be far less likely to have it running down the sides of the cup, but rather just sit in the center, which is great since a hang-on skimmer cup sits above your floor behind the aquarium. Similarly, the body of the 3 is actually wider than the cup, leaving about a 1/4 inch gap, which means any accidental overflow of the cup would be able to travel back down into the body of the skimmer rather than down the sides and onto the floor, which is a redundancy I am very happy to see. And last but not least, the air silencer is located right on the front of the 3 and held in place with a simple thumb screw, which makes it super easy to clean out if it gets clogged. It also has a second barb fitting facing downwards over the spillway so that any potential drips or spills would just go right back into the tank. Having this second barbed fitting also means it would be very easy to install a small ball valve to control the amount of airflow the skimmer receives if you wanted to add a second point of tuning. Just like the smaller models, while the rectangular housing is black to hide the pump and other internals to keep things looking neat and tidy, the skimmer body is clear so that you can easily see the foam production inside of the skimmer. They also have a spillway with a replaceable foam bubble trap, and they're all powered by CJ Shark skimmer pumps with a great warranty and a long-standing history as reliable AC skimmer pumps with excellent performance. These protein skimmers are also really simple to dial in with a single point of tuning that essentially raises or lowers the internal neck of the collection cup so you can make sure those organic laden bubbles pop just before they enter the cup. You can also easily add on that air valve that I was talking about earlier if you'd like to have a second point of tuning for dialing in the air to organics ratio for your particular reef tank. With that said though, AquaMaxx did do a really good job of matching up the pump sizes with their skimmers, and their ratings for tank size and bioload are pretty spot on, so provided you size your skimmer appropriately, it should perform really well right out of the box. When it comes time for maintenance, the skimmer cup on the 2 is attached to that internal neck, and you'll want to loosen the tension screw in order to remove the cup so that you can take it to a sink for cleaning. The cup on the 3, however, just lifts up and off, leaving that internal neck behind. For that periodic full skimmer cleaning, you can completely disassemble these skimmers, which is awesome. There are thumb screws holding the enclosed components together, so you can remove them and take them apart, including the air silencer and the bubble diffuser, so you'll have no trouble at all making sure that you can get them spotless. If you've been holding off on a hang-on skimmer because you wanted an option that felt more like a refined and user-friendly tool for the job rather than a bulky afterthought, you can check out the Bullet skimmers for yourself by clicking right here.